I never imagined a family camping trip could ignite the most chaotic days of my life. My name is Evelyn Harper, 65 years old, living in the oak-shaded suburbs of Chicago, where neighbors still wave with smiles. I've spent decades building a family, working overtime to cover my kids' tuition, shelving my dreams to support my husband. But that day, my sister-in-law, Lisa, humiliated me in front of my children. Worse, my husband and kids didn't defend me. I struck back with an action that silenced her. But to reach that moment, I had to weather a storm.
Subscribe to the channel and comment where you're watching from, because this story is about to take you on an emotional journey you won't soon forget.
The trip was at Lake Michigan, a place I'd taken my family when the kids were little. I dreamed of old times, pitching tents, roasting marshmallows, laughing under the stars. For weeks, I planned meticulously, renting a campsite near the beach, buying a new tent, folding chairs, a portable grill. I packed ingredients for s'mores and chili con carne, my son Ethan's favorite. In my flannel shirt and cap, I was thrilled picturing us gathered around a fire. This was meant to bond us. My family wasn't exactly close. My husband Mark grew distant, buried in his accounting firm more than our marriage. Ethan, 26, was consumed by his tech startup. Sophie, 23, obsessed with being an influencer. Then there was Lisa, Mark's sister, a whirlwind of trouble. She'd been staying with us for months after her divorce, supposedly to get back on her feet. I didn't want her on the trip, but Mark insisted family includes Lisa. I'd always smoothed tensions, kept things running, so I hoped this trip would pull us together. Day one started well. We pitched tents, I built the fire, Mark and Ethan unloaded the car. Lisa sat in a chair, sipping soda, scrolling her phone. I chopped onions for chili when I heard her tell Sophie Evelyn's trying to make this a family movie, huh? Kind of funny at 65. I let it slide. Lisa was always sharp-tongued. But her jabs grew bolder. She mocked my tent setup, criticized the food, laughed at camping. God, Evelyn, who still does this. Like the 80s, she winked at Sophie. My daughter giggled, and I clenched my jaw. I stayed calm, cooked dinner, arranged seats by the fire, but my chest tightened. I glanced at Mark, hoping he'd speak up. Lisa, stop, he muttered, eyes on his phone, a weak effort. Ethan snapped landscape photos, Sophie filmed Instagram videos with Lisa. Then came the breaking point. I brought out the chili pot, set it on the folding table by the firelight, and Lisa stood raising her soda can. Here's to Evelyn, dragging us out for her happy family act, keep dreaming. The fire crackled over the silence. Sophie covered her mouth, giggling, then shot me an awkward glance. Ethan mumbled, "Aunt Lisa don't," but avoided my eyes. Mark cleared his throat. Evelyn's trying, then buried himself in his screen. My hands shook as I set the pot down, the fire's heat burning my face. I wanted to vanish. Years of overtime for Ethan's tuition, selling my mother's jewelry, for Sophie's dance classes, planning trips like this. Now I was a joke on my own vacation. The worst wasn't Lisa's words, but my family's indifference. I forced a smile, served the food, carried on, but inside I seethed. Lisa thought she could trample me. My family let her. But as I cleaned alone by the dying fire, a scrap of paper fell from Lisa's bag, sparking something in me, a tiny clue, and I was ready to make her regret crossing me. The embers glowed as I sat alone, Lisa's words weighing on my chest. The night air carried pine and lake water, but it couldn't soothe my anger. I'd poured my heart into this camping trip, hoping to mend our fractured family, only to get mockery from Lisa and apathy from those I loved. Mark, Ethan, and Sophie's silence hurt more than any taunt. But that scrap of paper wasn't just a spark, it was a fuse, ready to blow everything apart. I cleared empty cans and plates by the fading fire, trying to stay busy to avoid crumbling, when I saw Lisa's bag unzipped on a chair. A folded paper slipped out, bold text catching my eye. I picked it up, intending to tuck it back, but saw Mark's name and a figure, $47,000. My heart pounded. Our joint account never held that much. The transaction note repeated Lisa. I snapped a photo with my phone hands trembling, then slipped it back carefully. Snooping wasn't me, but instinct screamed something was wrong. My mind raced. Lisa using Mark's name. Was he hiding money from me? I recalled the past 18 months, Mark's firm struggling Lisa, moving in post-divorce, their late-night whispers. I thought he was just a good brother, but this betrayal cut deeper than mockery. Morning came, fog rolling over the campsite, and I rose early, brewing coffee on the stove, keeping up a normal face. My eyes flicked to Lisa's tent. She emerged yawning, and I handed her a mug, forcing a smile. "Sleep okay?" I asked, voice steady despite the storm inside. Barely, she smirked. "Camping's not my thing, Evelyn." I nodded, watching her every move. That day, Lisa ramped up. She took over the grill, called my burgers bland, roped Sophie into helping while side-eyeing me. Sophie laughed along eyes, briefly guilty. Ethan stayed glued to his phone, joining only when Lisa called him to snap her by the lake. Mark dodged tinkering with fishing gear or checking email. I felt invisible, a maid, not the trip's creator. By afternoon, we hiked a trail near the lake, my chance to bond us. I packed water snacks, led with a map. Lisa turned it into her stage, griping about bugs heat my pace. "Take this shot, no mom vibe ruining it," she told Ethan and Sophie, halting us for selfies. Sophie laughed. Ethan shrugged. Clicked. Mark trailed quietly. I gripped my backpack, face burning. At the lookout, Lake Michigan sparkled under the sun, and I laid out snacks. Lisa rallied everyone, raising a water bottle. "To new beginnings," she said, eyes locked on me. "And leaving behind what holds us back?" Sophie clinked bottles, grinning. Ethan nodded lightly. Mark mumbled, "Okay, avoiding me?" The wind whipped my hair. It felt like a slap. This wasn't just a trip. Lisa wanted my family, and they let her. "What do you mean, Lisa?" I asked, voice sharp. The group froze. She raised an eyebrow, smiled. "Oh, Evelyn, don't be sensitive. Some cling to the past like this camping. Cute, but outdated." Sophie hid her mouth. Ethan stared at his shoes. Mark cleared his throat. "Come on, both of you," but didn't defend me. Her words stabbed. Clinging, I worked extra for Ethan's coding classes, sold jewelry for Sophie's dance, stayed up hearing Mark's job. Woes! I wanted to scream, but the kids' looks stopped me. Sophie's smirk, Ethan's avoidance, Mark's weak glance. They didn't just let Lisa talk, they agreed. I turned away, adjusted my pack, hid welling tears. The hike back was torture. Lisa babbled, planning a real vacation with the kids. Mark nodded along. Ethan and Sophie scrolled phones. I trailed each step, heavy, thinking of that banknote. Back at camp, I cleaned the grill, packed leftovers, but noticed new details: Lisa's fancy phone designer sunglasses, tossing cash for firewood. Broke how in the car, I checked our banking app. Joint account, $1, $200 left. History showed $1,500 monthly transfers, 18 months to an unknown account. I sat, screen light on my face, breath shallow. I called Claire, my lawyer friend from an old job. "Sounds like financial manipulation," she said. "Don't dig alone. I'll get official statements. Check the safe deposit box. You're stronger than you think." Her words were a lifeline. Laughter rang from the fire, Lisa telling stories kids rapped, Mark chuckling weakly. I stood in the dark, watching. Lisa, tipsy, blurted, "You've got everything, Evelyn, house, family? I lost it all after divorce." Her eyes flashed jealousy. I gripped my phone, resolved. Lisa thought she'd won, but she'd just started a fight I was ready for. The fire died, but I couldn't sleep. Lake waves lapped softly, clashing with the chaos in my head. The banknote, Lisa's taunts, my family's apathy, swirling, fueling a fire of resolve. I was done being a doormat. Lisa envied my life, aimed to steal my family and money. Mark was complicit. I wasn't just hurt, I was ready to fight, and step one was the truth. Morning fog blanketed the campsite. I rose early, brewed coffee, kept a normal face. My eyes tracked Lisa. She emerged yawning, grabbed a muffin without thanks. Ethan and Sophie appeared late, glued to phones. Mark fumbled with fishing rods, avoiding me. I pieced it together. Lisa's spending new phone pricey sunglasses didn't fit a broke woman. Mark's evasion hinted at guilt. Claire warned against digging, but I needed clues before Chicago. I offered to drive for ice, saying we were low. In the car, I checked the app, what $500 monthly transfers, 18 months to an odd account. Credit cards showed weird charges, $500 at a jeweler, $1, $200 at a spa, $300 at a boutique, all recent in Chicago. Mark didn't shop like that, nor I. My stomach twisted. Mark funding Lisa. Or worse, a joint scheme. I thought of 25 years of trust, blaming his distance on work stress. Now, I doubted. I snapped screenshots, texted Claire. She replied, "Good. Send all you find. Check the safe deposit box, Mark might hide papers." Back at camp, Lisa took charge. She organized kayaking, roped in Ethan and Sophie. "Let's have real fun." She tossed her hair. "Evelyn, you staying clean, right?" I nodded, forced a smile, blood boiling. Sophie grabbed a paddle, glanced at me guiltily. Ethan shrugged, followed. Mark mumbled, "I'll join later," and stayed reading a fishing magazine. I saw an opening. While they were out, I slipped to Lisa's car, parked sloppily. An envelope poked from the seat showing a Chicago lease in Lisa's name, $3,000 a month, too much for a broke woman. I snapped a photo, hand steady, tucked it back, heart racing. Mark approached Evelyn. "What are you doing?" I jumped, clutched my phone. "Looking for sunscreen?" I lied, brushing past. He watched, suspicious. The kayak group returned, wet laughing. Lisa bragged about saving Sophie from tipping. Sophie beamed at her. Ethan high-fived. I stood aside, invisible but armed, lease photo bank shots. I served lunch, chatted about the lake, but planned. Claire texted, "Be careful. Don't confront yet. I'll get official records." I nodded to myself. I needed the safe deposit key. Mark kept it in his desk drawer. I'd seen it. At dinner, Lisa mocked the chili needs flavor, less Evelyn. Sophie laughed, then looked away awkwardly. Ethan smirked, stayed quiet. Mark ate, glanced at Lisa, a look beyond family. My skin crawled. Were they closer than I thought? I pushed it aside, focused on Claire's advice. That night by the fire, Lisa suggested truth or dare. The kids jumped in. My turn, Lisa leaned in, eyes glinting. "Truth, Evelyn. Why hold this family when no one needs your effort?" Her words cut. Sophie looked away. Ethan fidgeted. Mark stared at the fire. I wanted to yell about money lies, but Claire held me back. I stood, voice low, firm. Maybe I've tried for the wrong people. I walked to my tent, leaving them stunned. Inside, on my sleeping bag, my heart pounded. Lisa's words were a mirror. I'd lost myself for their needs. 25 years of marriage, raising kids, quitting my career for Mark. Now they threw it in my face. Mark slipped in, voice shaky. "Evelyn, I was just helping Lisa. The firm lost money. I panicked. I cut him off." "Not now. We'll talk later." He shrank left. Next morning, I found a note in Mark's wallet dropped when he grabbed cash for wood. "Lisa needs $10K for lease. Transfer before E notices." E was me. Fury flared. I snapped a photo, sent it to Claire. She called, "Sounds like fraud." "I'll dig, get statements, check the safe. Stay tough, Evelyn." I nodded, resolve rising. But the last camp day tested me. Lisa, sensing a shift, doubled down. She rallied Ethan and Sophie for fishing, laughing. "Evelyn, guard the tent, okay? You're great at chores." Sophie giggled, then shot me a softer look. Ethan muttered, "Mom, I can help," but Lisa pulled him. "Come on, kid, let your mom rest." Mark stood by tinkering with rods, nodding weakly when I looked for rescue. I stayed, cleaned the stove, but anger turned to strategy. I thought of the safe wills, House deeds, my mom's ring. Mark kept the key in his coat. I'd seen him careless. While they fished, I checked his coat by the tent. His wallet lay open, the safe key peeking out. I hesitated wrong to take it, but his betrayal drove me. I slipped it in my pocket, heart racing, rehung the coat. He didn't notice, but I felt new power. I was acting, not waiting. That afternoon, Lisa pressed on. She led marshmallow roasting, bossing the kids like a new mom. "Evelyn, your fire's awful. Let me," she laughed, snatching my stick. Sophie joined but mumbled, "Mom, the fire's fine." Ethan looked at me, whispered, "Mom, sorry, Aunt Lisa's too much." Then Lisa tugged him, "Roast with me, kid." Mark sat apart, murmured, "Lisa, ease up," but avoided my gaze. I swallowed, rage roasted a marshmallow, smiled stiffly. Inside, I counted hours to Chicago, the safe Claire, the truth. Last night, Lisa went too far. We sat by the fire stars, bright above. She waved a marshmallow stick, laughed loud. "Evelyn, you're like this tent, old clinging, but no one needs it." She winked at the kids. Sophie covered her mouth, flushed, mumbled, "Auntie, don't say that." Ethan frowned. "Aunt Lisa, that's weird," and glanced at me, eyes worried. Mark cleared his throat. "Lisa, enough. Evelyn does a lot for us." His voice was weak, eyes on the fire. Her words stung, but the kids' small reactions were a spark. They hadn't fully turned. I stood, hands clenched, voice icy. "Lisa, you're jealous of what I have that you lost. You won't steal my family or dignity?" She gaped, sneered. "Jealous? You're delusional." "Evelyn, Mark, tell her." Mark stammered. "Evelyn, you've got it wrong." I cut in wrong. "I have proof and will settle at home." I turned to my tent, leaving them silent. Lisa yelled, "You'll regret this, Evelyn," but I didn't look back. In the tent, I lay, lake waves faint. Lisa's words hurt, but Sophie's guilty look, Ethan's apology, even Mark's weak try gave hope. They weren't gone. But I wasn't just fighting for them. Claire gave me strength. Lease photos, statements, Mark's note were leverage. I texted Claire, found more clues. "Got safe key." She replied, "Good. Don't act yet. Tomorrow we start." I gripped the key, its weight solid. Lisa and Mark thought me weak, but they were wrong. Last day we packed. Lisa, smug, babbled to the kids about a real trip later. Sophie quietly helped fold the tent, whispered, "Mom, I didn't mean to upset you." Ethan carried gear, said, "Mom, I'll be home more." Mark avoided me but glanced, eyes anxious. I smiled faintly, played calm, but burned inside. Back in Chicago, I'd opened the safe, send Claire everything, face them. Lisa started this war, but I'd end it for my money, home, and self. As the car rolled, Lake Michigan faded. I felt a shift. Pain lingered, but I was stronger. I was ready. The drive back from Lake Michigan blurred in heavy silence. I sat in the passenger seat, eyes on the window, the asphalt stretching endlessly. Mark drove, hands tight on the wheel, face tense. Ethan and Sophie sat back, earbuds and lost in phone screens. Lisa in her car behind waved smugly as we left camp like she'd won. But I was done playing. Photos of statements, the lease burning in my phone, safe in memory. Claire's words echoed, "Don't confront yet. Protect yourself." Today, I stopped being a victim. I'd reclaim my life, and my bold move started now. Back at our Chicago house, it felt alien, a stage for someone else's story. I unloaded camping gear mechanically, face calm, but heart pounding. Mark vanished to his study, muttering about work emails. Ethan and Sophie grabbed snacks, hid in their rooms. Lisa still staying sprawled on the sofa, scrolling her phone, acting like she owned it. I watched her, anger a steady pulse. She thought she'd shamed me and walked free. Mark hid money, assets. I was done waiting, and the safe key in my pocket was step one. Mark kept the safe key in his desk, a spare taped underneath his lazy habit I'd noticed. As Lisa scrolled, I slipped to the study, fingers brushing cold metal. I pulled the key heavy in my hand, pocketed it breath shallow. Mark walked in. Evelyn, what are you doing? His tone was sharp eyes, narrowed. I jumped, held up a pen from the desk. Grabbing this for a grocery list. We're out of milk. I lied, forcing a smile. He stared, suspicion flickering, then nodded. I left, pulse racing. My time was shrinking. I told Mark I'd hit the store, grabbed my purse and keys before anyone asked. At the bank, my hands shook as I signed for the safe deposit box. The clerk led me to the vault, and I slid the key in heart thumping. The box clicked open, revealing papers, my mom's jewelry, an odd envelope. I opened it, a notarized deal signed 4 months ago. Transferring our duplex property I slaved overtime to buy to a trust in Lisa's name. Mark's scrawl was there, not mine. My vision blurred with rage. He forged my consent. I dug more statements from a secret account, transfers from our savings. A lawyer's letter about shielding assets from business risk. Proof glared. Mark and Lisa siphoned money, hid it from me. I snapped photos, hands steady, now fueled by anger. I left my mom's ring, my one true piece, locked the box, and left strength replacing pain. I drove to Claire's office. She was waiting, desk piled with papers, eyes bright as I handed my phone. Statement pics, the deal letters glowed. Evelyn, this is serious, she said. Forged signature, unapproved, transfer fraud, maybe theft. We'll freeze accounts, cancel the transfer now. I nodded, voice firm. Do it, Claire. I want the duplex, the money all back in my name. She typed fast, fingers flying. Emergency filing goes today. Mark might guess you hit the safe. Be careful and find more at home. Taxes, contracts, anything. I nodded, adrenaline surging. They won't scare me anymore. Home, the sun was down, streetlights dim. Lisa was in the kitchen, pouring wine, laughing like the host. Mark sat on the sofa, laptop, open face strained. Ethan and Sophie were out, maybe with friends? I took a breath, stepped in, purse on my shoulder. Mark, we need to talk, I said, calm but cold. He flinched, shut the laptop. About what? Lisa paused, glass midair, eyes wary. I stood tall, faced them. About the $47,000 you gave Lisa. The duplex you signed to her, no signature from me. About the lies. The room went dead quiet. Lisa set her glass down, face pale, then roared. You dare accuse me, I'll sue you for slander, Evelyn. Wait for my lawyer. She grabbed her phone, hands shaking, dialed. Mark stood, face gaunt. Evelyn, calm down. I can explain. The firm tanked. I panicked. Helped Lisa, protected the kid's future. You're my everything, don't blow this up. I snapped, held up my phone, the deal photo blazing. Protect. By forging my signature, I've got statements, card charges, her lease. It's over. Lisa's face froze. She lunged. You're crazy, Mark. Stop her. You snooped my stuff. I turned to her, voice sharp. You stole from me, lived in my home, turned my kids against me. Get out, Lisa. Tonight. She sneered, trembling. You can't kick me out. Mark invited me. I looked at Mark, daring him. He shrank, whispered Lisa. Maybe you should go. Evelyn, I'm sorry I messed up. Lisa screamed. Mark, you're abandoning me. She's delusional. I didn't wait. I marched to her room, grabbed a suitcase from the closet, tossed in clothes. She followed, yelling, You can't do this. I'll sue, you'll regret it. I zipped it, dragged it to the porch, threw it on the lawn. Leave Lisa. Now. She snatched her phone, muttering lawyer threats, then stormed out, door-slamming car screeching into the night. The house stilled, air thick. Mark stared, eyes pleading. Evelyn, I can explain. The firm crashed. I thought this was the way. I can't lose you. I cut him off, voice icy. Stop, Mark. I have proof, my lawyer's on it tomorrow. You chose this. I stepped past, heart pounding, mind clear. For the first time in years, I felt free from Lisa, from the weight of holding a family that didn't try. I went to my room, locked the door, sat on the bed, adrenaline fading. My hands shook as I texted Claire Dunn. Lisa's gone. What's next? She replied fast. Great job, Evelyn. Emergency filings and accounts freeze soon. Find more papers, we're winning. I looked around photos on the dresser, Ethan's graduation. Sophie's dance recital, our wedding, like relics of an old life. It hurt, but I didn't crumble. Lisa's face, as I tossed her suitcase, Mark's panic, my first win. Mark was next. I thought of 25 years of sacrifice over time selling jewelry planning trips. They took me for granted, but I wasn't weak. Claire had proof statements, the deal letters. I tucked the safe key in my pocket, breathed deep. Tomorrow, I'd dig through Mark's study, send Claire all. The house creaked around me, oddly calm. I lay down, eyes open, thinking of Ethan and Sophie. They didn't know, might hate me for ousting Lisa. But I wasn't just fighting for them, for me. Lisa's exit was the start. Mark would face consequences. Money, home, dignity, I'd take it all back. No one would stop me. As I closed my eyes, calm crept in. I was stronger than they thought, and I was just beginning. 6 months after I threw Lisa out the house was quiet, like the calm after a storm. I stood in the kitchen, brewing coffee, the machine's hum soothing my mind. Mark didn't come to bed last night. I heard him pacing the study till late, footsteps heavy. Ethan and Sophie still slept, unaware I'd shaken everything up. Lisa's absence left a void, not loss, but space to breathe, think, plan. Ousting her was step one, but Mark's betrayal, the stolen money, the duplex, the fight wasn't over. I'd reclaim what was mine. Claire's text from last night burned in my mind. Emergency filing in. Accounts frozen temporarily. Stay tough. She'd filed to freeze accounts, cancel the duplex transfer, and hired a forensic accountant to trace the money. Could take months for a ruling, she wrote. Find financial records at home, taxes, contracts, letters. Be careful, Evelyn. I nodded to myself, eyes on Mark's study laptop files, clues waiting. Mark emerged, face gaunt, eyes red. Evelyn, let's talk about last night, he rasped, hands clenched. I set my coffee down, arms crossed. You had your chance, Mark. My lawyer's handling it. He stepped closer, pleading. You're overreacting. The firm lost money. I panicked, helped Lisa, protected the kid's future. You get it. I cut in, voice sharp. Protected by stealing from me, forging my signature for the duplex. No more lies, Mark. He shrank, shoulders, sagging eyes, dodging. What do you want, Evelyn? He whispered. What's mine? I said, cold. The duplex, the savings, the truth. And you'll face what you did. I stepped past, grabbed my purse. Don't touch the study. I'll know. He went silent, eyes guilty and scared, watching me leave. I drove to a cafe to meet Claire, needing air from the stifling house. She waited, pushing a latte my way. You look stressed but fierce, she said, smiling. I told her of Mark's weak try, his trembling voice, begging forgiveness. Claire shook her head. He's rattled. Good, he knows he's in trouble. Accounts are frozen temporarily in 48 hours. Fraud evidence is solid. I'm digging into Lisa's trust. Find tax returns, property contracts, bank letters, anything? I nodded, resolve surging. He won't scare me, Claire. I'm done with fear. Her eyes softened. You're stronger than most, Evelyn. He didn't expect this fight. Home Mark was gone, likely hiding at his downtown office. I seized the chance, slipped to the study rifled drawers. I found old statements, a folder labeled investments. Inside, printed emails from a lawyer discussing the duplex transfer to minimize tax risk, shield assets if the firm fails. Each line confirmed an 18-month plot. Then a handwritten note, Mark's scrawl. Lisa needs $10K for lease. Transfer before E notices. E was me. My blood chilled. He planned under my nose. I snapped photos, hands steady, sent them to Claire. I bought a small safe, locked the originals in my closet, ensuring Mark couldn't touch them. Ethan came home, shuffled to the kitchen, grabbed a soda. Where's Aunt Lisa, Mom? he asked, eyes on his phone. I took a breath. She's gone, Ethan? She took our money I earned. Your dad helped her. His eyes widened, confused. For real, Dad didn't say. He nodded faintly, then left, leaving me a spark of hope he hadn't fully turned. Sophie was tougher. She stormed in, face tense. Dad said you kicked Aunt Lisa out. Why, Mom? She was fun, helped my videos. I stayed calm. Sophie, she used our money, lied to me. Your dad was in on it. She rolled her eyes. You're jealous we liked her more. You're always strict. She slammed her door. Her words stung, but I expected it. Lisa won them over. Mark let it happen. I didn't chase, my fight was bigger. Lisa struck back fast. Her voicemail hit my phone. You smeared me, Evelyn. You touched my stuff, my lawyer will make you pay. I saved it, sent it to Claire. Then rumors spread. Janet, a neighbor, called, worried. Evelyn, I heard from Sophie, you lost it. Attacked Lisa for no reason. What's up? I told the truth, statements, the lease forgery. Janet gasped, gripped my hand through the phone. You don't deserve this, Evelyn. Need anything, I'm here. Her kindness was a lifeline, a reminder not everyone was against me. Claire called, voice firm. Accounts frozen temporarily, duplex transfer under review. Mark's lawyer reached out, offering a deal, half the duplex, $20,000 quiet settlement. I laughed bitterly. Crumbs won't do. I wanted all money, duplex justice. Claire chuckled. That's my girl, the accountant's tracing, but it'll be tough, they'll fight. Stay patient. I nodded, strength creeping past pain. I'd faced Lisa now, Mark. Tension climbed. Mark moved out, rented a cheap downtown apartment, left a note on the kitchen table. I didn't want this to blow up. I messed up, Evelyn. Talk soon. I crumpled it, tossed it, anger drowning faint pity. Ethan and Sophie stayed distant, out with friends more. It cut like a knife, but I wouldn't beg for their love. Instead, I rebuilt. Janet invited me to a book club. I joined, hesitant. Women my age listened to my story, no judgment. Maria, a divorcee, shared her tale of betrayal and recovery. You're not alone, Evelyn, she said, hugging me. You're stronger than you know. Her words, like Claire's, planted quiet confidence. I started a project, volunteering at a community center, teaching cooking to single parents. Small, but it gave purpose. Students, mostly women scraping by like me, became a new family. One night, we laughed over burnt soup, and I realized I hadn't thought of Mark or Lisa all day. A small win, but precious. Some nights I broke, cried in my room, doubting my strength. Sophie wouldn't talk, Ethan texted rarely. But then small signs. Ethan texted, Mom, startup's crazy, but your chili's the best. Need help? Sophie left a hoodie in the laundry, a quiet sign she'd been home. I didn't push, just left the door open, literally and figuratively. Claire called, late voice triumphant. Breakthrough, Evelyn accountant traced money, Lisa funneled some offshore. Fraud intents clear. Judge fast-tracked the case, ruling could come next month. I exhaled, relief flooding. What's it mean? Claire means you're close to getting it all, money, duplex, she said. And they'll pay Mark and Lisa. I hung up, stood in the quiet house, betrayal's sting still sharp but fading. Pride took over, I'd faced, Lisa challenged, Mark stood for me. One night, watering new flower beds in the backyard, I thought of the journey. I'd painted the living room, pale blue, planted flowers, small steps making the house mine. I opened a savings account, stashing cash from my part-time center job, dreaming of Italy or Japan, my dreams. Mark, Lisa, even the kids' approval didn't define me. I looked at the yard, moonlight on flowers. Pain lingered, but I was alive. I'd fought not just for money, but me. Claire led the way, friends lifted me, and I stood firm. Whatever the ruling, I knew I was strong, ready for my future. Chicago's skyline gleamed in the sunset as I stood on my porch, warm tea in hand. 8 months since Claire's breakthrough news, My life was settling, not the perfect picture of old, but a new canvas, true to me. Mark's betrayal. Lisa's taunts, Ethan and Sophie's distance once cut like knives. But I'd pushed through no longer the woman begging for love or approval, but Evelyn Harper, knowing my worth. I didn't just survive, I was rebuilding, and it started with me. Claire's work paid off. After 4 tense months of hearings, the judge ruled for me. The duplex transfer was canceled, $47,000 Mark, and Lisa took from our account ordered repaid. The forensic accountant exposed it. Lisa funneled cash offshore. Mark forged my signature on the deal, undeniable fraud. Lisa faced potential criminal charges. Claire said she hid in a new apartment but wouldn't escape long. Mark was ordered to pay legal fees and damages. Claire pushed a divorce settlement. I kept the house, got half his retirement. "He won't slip away easy," Claire said, voice victorious. "I didn't seek revenge, just what I'd sweated and sacrificed 25 years for." Mark stayed in his downtown rental, a permanent divide. He called once, left a voicemail, voice shaky. "Evelyn, I messed up. I just wanted to save the firm, protect the kids." "Talk, please." I deleted it, didn't reply. His betrayal wasn't just money, years of taking me for granted, letting Lisa shame me, letting the kids drift. I didn't hate him, but I didn't need him. The house, once a shrine to family dreams, was mine. I began changing it, painted the living room pale blue, planted roses and daisies out back. Each brushstroke, each seed a step to make it my space, reflecting who I was becoming. Ethan and Sophie were a tougher road. They'd been distant, swayed by Mark's story and Lisa's charm. But cracks showed. Ethan texted more short, sincere. "Mom, startup's wild, but your chili's tops. Dinner soon." Sophie was shy, but one night she knocked left, a hoodie in the laundry. Mumbled, "Mom. Sorry I got mad. I didn't get it." I hugged her, didn't push. Said, "Doors always open, honey." I was done begging their love. I let them find their way, and slowly they came Ethan for chilly, Sophie for old movies. Not perfect to start. I was patient, trusting time to heal. The community center anchored me. My cooking class grew, and I found joy teaching single parents budget meals, chili soup bread. Their stories of struggle, resilience, small wins mirrored mine, and we bonded. Maria from Janet's book club joined, bringing laughs and warm hugs. One night after class, we shared wine. "You're amazing," Evelyn, Maria said, raising her glass. "You faced betrayal, stood tall, stronger than ever." "I'm proud." Her words sank in like Claire's, building confidence I never knew. I was strong, not for winning court, but for choosing to fight for me. I started a new project, a savings account, just mine. Every cent from my part-time center job went in feeding buried dreams, Italy, Venice's canals, or Japan cherry blossoms. Not much, but enough to promise myself I deserved to live for me. Mark, Lisa, even the kids' approval didn't define me. I was enough, and that felt liberating. One evening, watering my flowers under moonlight, Janet stopped by bringing a casserole. "Just checking in," she said, eyes kind. We sat on the porch, talked her kids, my class's life. "You're different, Evelyn," she noted. "Lighter, brighter." I smiled, knowing she was right. The weight of being the perfect wife, mom, was gone. I didn't carry it, I carried me, and that was enough. Clarity hit unexpectedly. Cleaning the attic, sorting old boxes, I found an album, Ethan and Sophie, tiny building sandcastles at Lake Michigan, beaming beside me. My chest ached, not from lost gratitude. Those years weren't wasted. They shaped me, taught resilience, led me here. I set the album on a shelf, not hidden, not haunting. The past was my foundation, but the future was mine to paint. That night, at the kitchen table, I wrote myself a letter, a book club tip. "Dear Evelyn, you are enough. You faced Lisa. Challenged, Mark, stood up. You hurt, but didn't break. Whatever's next, you've got this." I folded it, tucked it by my bed, a reminder for hard days. Then I looked out, back flowers glowing under moonlight, Chicago sparkling beyond. This was my home, my life. I didn't need Lisa's silence or Mark's regret to be whole. I had my voice, my strength, a future waiting. This journey wasn't about revenge or proving anything. It was finding Evelyn, the woman buried under sacrifice duty. Betrayal's pain cracked me, but I didn't shatter. I grew step by step through anger, sadness, new joy. Sipping tea, a breeze brushing by, I smiled. Whatever Ethan and Sophie needed, whatever Mark never grasped, I was okay. Because at last I was me and ready to live fully. Standing on my Chicago porch, a cool spring breeze in the air, I, Evelyn Harper, feel alive like never before. My journey from Lisa's humiliation, Mark's betrayal, to reclaiming my life taught me true strength isn't winning every fight, but choosing yourself no matter who turns away. I'm no longer the woman begging for family's love or approval. I know my worth of victory no one can steal. Now I want to hear from you. Have you faced a moment that forced you to stand up, fight for your place in your own story? A betrayal by someone close, a painful loss, or a quiet realization you deserve more. Whatever it is, your voice has power. Share your story in the comments below, your challenges, triumphs, or small steps to rebuild. We're a community stronger together, and each experience inspires others. If I could push through, choose myself amid the storm, you can too. Drop your thoughts, keep this conversation alive. Together, we shine.